Now the trick is to make this side look like this side. It's slow going. You can't rush it. That's what I've figured out so far.
Well, there's the basic shape. Now the rest of it is hand sanding. And basically the way I do it, and just so I can wrap my brain around actually putting all this hard work up against an 80 grit sanding belt, is the way I tell myself what I'm doing is sanding away everything that doesn't look like a handle. And I'm doing way more hand sanding than probably a pro would, because I'm afraid of going too far and, you know, not having enough handle meat left to hand sand. So I err on the side of caution, and I stopped sanding way before probably somebody who's done this a lot longer would. This is walnut, by the way. This is some of that old 200-year-old walnut that Dwayne and I got. And this is this is a wood called shedua. Shedua is an African wood, and I'll tell you what, they might as well call it steel, because good God, it is hard to sand. Now, I've got the top mostly done. You know, I got to shape the front areas of the grips where it. This is the ricasso, by the way. I learned a new word. This area here between the end of the handle and the beginning of the blade is called the ricasso. Just so you know. So I've got to shape the handles close to the ricasso. I've got the butt shaped pretty good. I'm in the sun there, so there we go. I have to put this on my 1x30 sander now, because I have two curves that I can't get in with my 2x42, but the 1x30 has a lot more flex. And then I have my air grinder, die grinder, that I have a sanding drum on it, and some 3/4 inch drums, and that works pretty good too. Although when the compressor kicks on, Breezy gets really, he gets down. He doesn't like the noise of that compressor. So drink my coffee and get to sanding. I'll have these both in the house with true oil going on them this evening. And I got my my Kydex foam, but why do you think they had to put a pink ribbon around it? That's just the strangest daggum thing. Pink ribbon. Okay. Oh, and it's Chinese writing. So guess where this came from? Huh. And I'll be gluing that onto my Buck Run 11 Kydex press today. You know, I gotta thank a lot of people, man. There's a lot of people that have really helped me in my knife making endeavors. Buck Run 11, Bill up in Indiana, and Ricky Wallace. Man, he has, let me tell you what he just sent me. And I haven't got it on my, I'm gonna put my, this is a big chunk of stainless. I don't know how he got my picture so accurate. And what I want to do is buff this real shiny and put it on my table so my jig will slide across it. The problem I was having was I had two soft metals and my jig would dig into the table metal. So this stainless is going to work out just perfect. Thanks, Ricky. Really appreciate it. Buck Run 11, that's going to get done today. Bill up in Indiana, thank you very much for all the wood you sent me. And Ricky too. Alrighty, I drink a cup of coffee, and I'm waiting on a phone call from Fastenal. I ordered some 320 grit sandpaper, and I should have that today so I can finish these blades up. I'm going up to 600 on these blades now that they've been heat treated and tempered. I gotta go back to 320, and then 400, then 600, and they'll have a matte a satin finish. All right, back to work. Or actually, you go back to work. I'm gonna drink coffee. All right, here's I got that sanded down to 180. I got it shaped. I really like the shape of that. I did have to go back and put it on a belt grinder to taper the back end. I didn't have the back end tapered in enough, but looking good. I like that wood. It's very, very, very hard to sand. I've gone through that much. That's just 180, and all I do with that is get the sharp corners off and rub the scratches that go this way from the belt, rub them out of it. And now I'm going to 220 and then 320. Well, actually 400 because I don't have 320 yet. I got to go. I ordered some from Fastenal and it should be here before noon. But anyway, I like that. It's very tough wood. Here, let me get it out of this. Yep, it's called a shedua. I had to look it up. Dwayne gave it to me. And very interesting wood. Very, very hard wood. But once I get this sanded down to about 400, 600, man, that is going to look really nice with some true oil on it. Alright, now I'm working on, this is rain countries. I don't know if I mentioned that or, doggone it. It is definitely pollen. My pickup truck is just covered in yellow pollen, so that's what's making me cough. Anyway, this is Mom's 13. I think that's Mom's 13, yeah. And this is gonna get in here next. But I know what the walnut looks like, and it's just a gorgeous wood when you get that true oil on there. All right, I'm gonna take this down to 600 and get started on that. Actually, I'll see you inside when I get the true oil on these, because the first coat of true oil just, to me, that's all the hard work of sanding is worth it when you put that first coat of true oil on and it brings out the little grain in the wood. It's really pretty. All right, see you inside in a few hours. Well, that is the initial cutout and shaping of the BC. And of course, BC stands for bushcraft. This little scribbling up here is going to be the jimping. I had a phone call. And when the phone rings, camera shuts off. Yeah, I'm going to put some jimping up here so you can rub it against a fire steel. This is the one that's going to have the fire steel loop on the sheath. And I tell you, I'm thinking about putting a little on the sheath, putting a pocket for a sharpening stone. I may do that. Let me get some feedback, or if there's any bushcrafters out there, tell me if that is something that would actually be handy or if it's just like a gimmick. A small sharpening stone on the outside of the sheath with maybe a snapping, a flap that snaps over, a small snap. And the ferro rod, I got them in today. They're 3/8 by 4 inch. And it'll go on this side of the sheath. Facing this way, it'll go on the back side of the sheath. And that wood will match the handle wood. But I don't get in, let's see, it's yeah, it's too late to get into grinding the bevel on it. And tomorrow we have doctors. My wife's got some issues and I got a couple issues that might be taking a few more days to fix. A front end alignment and a valve adjustment. Alrighty. Bye. Sonny, why aren't you joining the madness? Oh, if they could just climb trees. If they just had hands. That squirrel wouldn't stand a chance. I love my boy. Well, I don't know if I've showed you this or not. This is a forge. Allegedly. I bought it for 50 bucks from a kid. And it needs the insides redone. Here. It needs new wool and brick. And he said he could never get it to work because when he would light it, this blower would blow it out. So I put new wheels on it because for some reason the rubber and the wheels that were on it, the rubber came off of it before I got it. I mean, when I bought it from him, it was just these metal discs. So I put some new wheels on it just so I can move it around in here. But I'm going to be slowly working on that, seeing if I can get it to working. If I can get this to working, I can actually heat treat the Bayou choppers myself and save about 20 bucks, 25. Let's see. Oh, I'm working on a prototype. This is the swamp rat handle. I like the swamp rat handle. It feels good in my hand. And I'm making it's the same length, but I've shortened this up to be more of a bushcraft type of blade. And this, I'm thinking about just calling it BC. And BC stands for bushcraft. The BC knife. Anyway, I'm gonna start including fire steel and whatever wood I use for the handles, I'll use for the fire steel. I'm going to include a fire steel loop on the side of the sheath. As a matter of fact, I just cut up a bunch of scrap leather that I plan on bringing inside and turning into fire steel loops. And I'm doing that by cutting them in, about 3-inch lengths and wrapping them around soaking them in water and then wrapping them around a 3-inch rod, and when they dry, gluing them together. Anyway, I'll show you that. But this is going to be my latest knife, and it is basically, I'll show you. Basically, it's swamp rat with a bit of a shallower blade. I knocked about a 1/4 inch off of it, maybe 3/8, because I really like that, and that's probably between this and Door Cheap. These are my 2 favorite knives, and this is going to be. I'm hoping it'll be my biggest seller because I really want to go all out and do some bushcraft type of knives, and this is. I think I can get 2 out of this. Yep, I can get 2 out of that. And maybe I can make a neck knife out of that last little bit. But anyway, right now I'm working on I'm working on a swamp mouse and a swamp diva and a swamp mouse. And I'm gonna I'll have them glued up, the handles glued up before the day is out. And tomorrow is doctor day, and I may get back to work here Thursday, depending on what the doctor tells my wife. And anyway, just wanted to show you my latest knife. And oh, I bought some fancy pins, Mosaic pins. Very, very expensive, and I'm only going to use these on my higher end, high polished, fancy schmancy knives, because you know, just for my own pleasure. Anyway, that's my new knife. That's my new forge. Soon I'll be using that. I will get it working. Somehow I'll get it working. And I'm going to get to work on 2 knives I got over here.